Hi, today we are going to see an interesting topic on how to create a dashboard for your centralized monitoring system for DevOps. So you do a lot of application development, do a lot of builds, you have your source code repository. So here we are going to see more and more on using the AWS native tools. So if you are using GitHub or if you are using Jenkins, this may not be relevant. But if you are more into AWS DevOps in your project, if you're using code commit, if you're using code deploy and code pipeline service to deploy your application into EC2, Lambda, or ECS cluster or Kubernetes cluster, I think this would be interesting for you. So basically, we do a lot of deployments in our environments for our application, but how you are going to track that, how you going to monitor it, basically how you going to visualize it. So that is very much important here, and there is a solution for it, which we are going to see in detail to provide a automated process of just analyzing and seeing what happens in our DevOps lifecycle and visualizing the dashboard. So to do that, we are going to use this native AWS service called CloudWatch to capture the events. And from the CloudWatch, we're going to use Event Bridge. We have going to use Kinesis, and we're going to store the logs in the S3 bucket. And we're going to query it using Ethana, and then we're going to have our dashboard in QuickSight. So, but let me uh, go through this reference architecture from AWS just step by step and see how you can utilize this reference architecture to monitor your AWS DevOps environment. Basically, you will have one account which you set it up your code pipeline, code deploy, code commit, the box one here, and which you use to deploy your application. And we also have code deploy or code build, sorry, where your Maven build or npm build application build happening. So in the step one, now the developer will initiate the build or sorry, commit the code. When you commit the code, the application will be deployed. So we are going to take this to CloudWatch event whenever there was a deployment happening, and we are using an event bridge. So the event bridge dictates if there was any event, and there will be a rule in event bridge where it's a predefined event patterns. When this event comes, what have to do. So when the event comes, then it send it to Amazon Kinesis data firehouse. It's to collect your real-time logs. If you want to collect your real-time logs, then Kinesis data firehouse will just collect it. And now if there was an event in code build, for example, you can see here there's an event in code build, your build is failed, and that failure will go to CloudWatch, and CloudWatch will send it to Kinesis, and from the Kinesis it again goes to S3. So we have two way of capturing it. One on code build level, because build is getting failed, that really we need to track our build is getting failed or our build is getting passed. And another one is our deployment. If build is passed, then we no need to have event, right? So your build is passed. So if this is passed, you don't need to have an event. But if your build is passed and then your deployment is failed, then we need to track why the deployment is failed. So there's two phase. In your build, you are going to track whether your build is passed or failed, and in the same way it's a deployment. That's why we are following two things. And the event bridge, basically it has predefined rules. If your deployment is failed, then it will uh, give it to Kinesis. And Kinesis, why we need Kinesis is to collect your real-time logs and put it into your S3 bucket. So we store all our events in S3 now. Now you have to notice one thing. There is something called AWS Lambda in Kinesis. This Lambda function is used to extract the relevant data to each matrix and send it to S3 for downstream. So when Kinesis receive it, okay, the Lambda has a function, the Lambda have the integration with S3 to send the logs to the S3 bucket. Okay, but through the Kinesis, you can able to see the real-time logs coming in. It's a streaming, live streaming process. Now what happens? We have our logs in S3 bucket and we stored it. Now we need to query it like from morning 10 to 1, what has happened? Or last 3 months, what has happened? So now S3 is kind of a database where we have all our data logs in it. Actually, Ethana is one more key database with querying function. So from S3, this data will be goes to Ethana so that we can query the database and these results will be going to Quick Insights. So Quick Insights is the dashboard part here. Will give a visualization for your management team, for your DevOps team, and for your operation team. So you can create different dashboards. At the user level, user can customize his own dashboard, or team can have customized dashboard, or the project, the management don't want to see, like they just want to see how many builds happened, how many builds, right? Uh, Failed or passed doesn't matter, but how many builds, or how many build is exactly failed. So if we want to see all this, then Kinesis is the database. So guys, here you need to understand this is pretty simple. And one more thing I forgot here is the CloudWatch synthesis canary. Why we use it? If we use canary allow, whenever it gathers the matrices or events, it is going to store it in the event tools. It's going to check that I captured this event, what I have to do. If you want to do some automation, then you can able to do. So we can use CloudWatch as service to collect the log. Okay. Then we need to use Kinesis to stream it and Lambda to put that into S3 bucket. S3 bucket is going to store your logs. And we use Ethana as a database where it is linked to S3, and Amazon Quick Insights is going to give to your management team to view your no complete activities, what is your development team is doing. If you see here, this is your development team doing your deployment and build. This is your management team. They don't know what is happening behind it. They just go to quick site and see how what is happening over here. Is deployment is successful, deployment is failure. All this they can able to see from here. Hope this diagram is useful for you to reference. This is a reference architecture. You can have this as a reference and you can create your own architecture based on your experience or based on your project. And if you have any doubts, more you want to learn about any one of these service, code deploy, code commit, or Kinesis, just you can comment me, then I can explain more on to details. So today's this video is all about to have a reference diagram on how to monitor the DevOps in the dashboard. Okay, AWS DevOps monitoring dashboard for the management team for application lifecycle management. Hope this is useful for you to have this reference diagram. Thank you guys. If you like it, please support me. Bye.